I'm very grateful to welcome you to 2005 Gaur Purnima Festival. And we have very, very special guests who will address us on this most auspicious occasion. We have amongst us today, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, the best of the Navadvip Mayapur Vasis. A personality who has been faithfully serving Srila Prabhupada's order for the past 35 years. When this great soul met Srila Prabhupada as a young boy, Prabhupada was living in a little straw hut in a mosquito-infested rice paddy in what appeared to be like a wilderness in Sri Mayapur Dham. And he ordered this special soul to take care of the Seva Puja of the deities of Radha Madhava for the rest of his life. He began the puja of the small brass deities of Radha Madhava in a straw hut. During the rainy season, they had to go on the roof because it was flooded. He never left. It was his Guru Maharaj's desire to remain in one place, just doing seva to the deities, despite all difficulties, is only possible when one is completely detached from everything and anything except the service of Sri Guru and Gauranga. Over the years, many transformations have taken place at the ISKCON Chandrodaya Mandir in Mayapur Dham. Some great successes. Prabhupada built the first structured building, and soon after that there was a festival. Prabhupada invited people from all over the world to Sri Mayapur Dham to fulfill the prophecy of Nityananda Prabhu and Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Then it was annual. All the leaders and as many devotees as possible would come from all over the world to be with Srila Prabhupada in the presence of Radha Madhava and Lord Chaitanya in the supreme most holy abode of Navadvip. And in the heart of it all was two brothers, humbly, always remaining completely in the background, serving the deities. A perfect pujari is one who doesn't want to take any honor, any credit, or in any way come in the forefront. But heart, soul, life is simply to present Radha Madhava and Lord Chaitanya to the world in such a way that everyone is attracted to them. If ego creeps in, eventually you will be kicked away from that service. Many disasters. So many things have happened over the years in Mayapur. And because of that, almost anybody who came would leave after some time. Very difficult. There were riots, several riots, racial riots, attacked by militias and yavanas with weapons, people murdered and killed, scandals, even internally so many difficulties, externally so many difficulties. But this person remained humble, pure, in his loyal devotion to Gurudev's order through it all. It's the very emblem of humility and dedication, which is the essence of devotional service. And by his inconceivable kindness on our request, he agreed to be the head pujari for Radha Gopinath Temple. And whatever we have been doing in our deity department over the last many years is under his blessings and direction. It's very difficult to bring him here. Very difficult. Let us wholeheartedly, with great enthusiasm, gratitude, and volume, welcome Jananivas Prabhu. The plan was, for many months, that on Gaur Purnima we were to install the deities of Lalita and Vishaka, which have just come from Sri Jaipur. But when the news illuminated our hearts that Jananivas Prabhu was willing to come, but he had to be in Sri Mayapur Dham for Gaur Purnima, just to have his auspicious presence, we shifted the date to April 2nd and 3rd. Or 1st and 2nd. 1st and 2nd, yes. But Jananivas Prabhu, besides just overseeing and purifying all of our deity worship, he will be here giving wonderful classes and performing his most hypnotizing, ecstatic dance for the next 3 weeks. Let us once again welcome Jananivas Prabhu. Much, much, much louder, please. He's like pure gold. The more you try to honor, respect, and glorify him, the more humble he becomes. Since we want everyone to speak, I'll be brief in my next introductions. We have with us for the first time for a public program a very, very dear godbrother. This wonderful person is from South America, one of the first devotees to come to our movement in South America in the early 70s. He was a pioneer going to which countries? Peru, Bolivia, Colombia, Chile. You probably never even heard of these places. And he was opening up temples and preaching and distributing books and making devotees. He was actually establishing entire projects in very difficult countries in the southern part of America. Profusely blessed by Srila Prabhupada. And he's been faithfully serving the mission for about 35 years, and he's still in charge of an entire country in South America, Paraguay, and one of the most ecstatic preachers, kirtan singers, and devotees within our society. He's here for the first time. Let us very enthusiastically welcome Jagajivan Prabhu. And we've already welcomed many times this humble sage who's dancing, chanting his wonderful classes and his wonderful, wonderful exemplary personality. Very exemplary sannyasi and Vaishnav sadhu. Let us welcome His Holiness Shripad Chandramali Swami Maharaj. And one of our very, very dear friends, humble, gentle, absolutely dedicated, sold out, his body, mind, words, life, and soul to the mission of Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very senior devotee, joined in San Francisco in the 1960s or 1970s. Yeah. Senior to practically all of us here. He was temple president many places. He was Sankirtan leader of the biggest places in the world in the 1980s. France, Italy, Greece, Israel. He was one of the first to actually establish book distribution in the Arab-speaking Muslim countries. And just such a friend. What can we say about Sri Das Prabhu? Let us very graciously welcome him, along with his good wife Krishna Loka, to Radha Gopinath Temple. This is Krishna Loka. She's that demigoddess that's looking down upon us from above. And also we have Chitrarupini Mataji, very, very senior, wonderful disciple of Prabhupada, a very, very saintly devotee from Italy. Let us welcome her to Sri Radha Gopinath. And Nartaki Mataji, who is a resident of Bhaktivedanta Hospital and one of the worshipable God sisters of our heart. Let us offer our deepest gratitude. We can't really welcome you, but we can offer our gratitude to you on this day by loudly chanting. And last night, coming home once again, His Holiness Niranjan Swami Maharaj. Radha Gopinath Temple has become his home. Every now and then he goes out to preach to strange foreign lands. I don't know of anyone in the 14 worlds that is more of a loving well-wisher to each and every one of the devotees here. Wherever he goes in the world, he is honored and loved, not for any external position, but because of the rare qualities of a true Vaishnava Mahatma that he possesses. His kirtans stir bhakti within our hearts. His incredible classes just pierce our very soul and awaken devotion. And just by seeing Radhanath Swami, I have been observing, just by seeing him, everyone becomes blissful. Let us very enthusiastically offer Niranjan Swami Maharaj welcome home. He's leaving tomorrow. He's going on vacation tomorrow. I will speak something first, with your permission. On the occasion of Gaur Purnima, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, the essence of all avatars, the supreme personality of Godhead, who is the source of all other incarnations, coming to taste the sweetness of the love of his own Hladini Shakti, Srimati Radharani. But as we heard in His Holiness Niranjan Swami Maharaj's class this morning, Lord Chaitanya, he is Chand Avatar. Very special quality. What is that? That he comes in the role of his own devotees to teach us, by his example, the process of obtaining the ultimate perfection of life. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descends in this age of Kali, knowing what will be the great impediments for spiritual progress in this age. What are the causes of the greatest degradation? Vedaham samatitani bharatamanani charjana. The Lord knows everything past, present, and future. He wanted to give people a good warning. In the age of Kali, due to the impersonalism, Mayavad, misconceptions, people will declare themselves to be God. Not only that, people will try to convince you that you are God. I remember a group of people from a spiritual community came to visit us once. And I said to them, is there any way I can serve you? And they became very happy I said this. And they said, you know why you're bringing us so much happiness? Because when you say, how can I serve you? We're feeling great happiness for your sake. So I just listened. He said, because God is one, and we are all God. So I and you are the same person. So when you serve me, you're actually serving yourself. And therefore I'm feeling very happy for you. This is the conscience, and these are just simple people in America. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although he is God himself, who possesses all six opulences, he would never allow anyone to call upon him as the Lord. Even if someone detected he was God, he would and approached him in this way, he would hold his ears and cry out, Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. Never ever say this. The living entity is part and parcel of Krishna. We are infinitesimal, eternal servants of Krishna. He considered it the greatest fear, the greatest contamination to hear this, being glorified as God. That's why we come to this world in the first place, because we want to be the enjoyer. The enjoyer is the exclusive right, the exclusive position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The spirit soul, which is an infinitesimal part of the Lord, is constitutionally servant, meant to be enjoyed. We are all prakriti, enjoyed. Krishna is the only one supreme enjoyer. To the degree we give Krishna enjoyment, to that degree our souls experience the ultimate happiness. That is Ananda. Sat, realization in Brahmajyoti. You could realize the peace of eternity in the Brahmajyoti. But Ananda comes by giving pleasure to Krishna, by giving enjoyment to Krishna. Then He reciprocates by giving unlimited Ananda or happiness to us. That is the highest truth. Krishna is the one supreme enjoyer. What is the nature of this material world? It has been created for the explicit purpose of those who want to enjoy the position of God. For those who want to be enjoyers. Who relinquish their eternal nature as servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. So within this age of Kali Yuga, Maya and her agents are so very, very intelligent that they give elaborate philosophy to convince people that they are God. Just to perpetuate, ultimately, this enjoying spirit. Some people renounce sex life, renounce all material possessions, renounce all material prestige, renounce all material comforts. But what is their goal? To enjoy the position of becoming God. Hare Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, He is God. He's displaying the opulences of God. But if anyone called Him God, He wanted it very clear. No, do not contaminate my heart with this bogus nonsense philosophy. I am the eternal servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. And the Lord served. He humbly served His spiritual master. He humbly served the Vaishnavas. He humbly served every living being. On very, very special, rare occasions, like the Mahaprakash Leela at Srivasa's house, when all the doors were closed and the windows were shut and only the most ecstatically endowed, pure devotees were present, He fulfilled their desires by manifesting His various forms of the Lord. Ram, Krishna, Varaha, Narasingha, Vamana, Shiva. He would reveal these incredible forms to His devotees for their pleasure. But when He was not in one of those very, very deeply merciful, ecstatic moods, He was always serving. He would not accept service. He was always serving. And if even His closest devotees declared Him to be God, He would become angry like fire. Hare Krishna. So one day, in Jagannath Puri, during Mahaprabhu's Sannyas Leela, Advaitacharya was in an especially blissful mood. He gathered the Vaishnavas together and spoke. He said, Today we will fill our mouths with the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who has descended as Lord Gauranga. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the essence of all avatars. He is the cause of all causes. He is Krishna himself, Lord Narayan, who has descended to deliver everyone. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the king of Vaikuntha, has come to this world to deliver even the most fallen souls by filling the entire planet with the loud chanting of the holy names. Through the Sankirtan movement, our Lord has He has come to deliver all. We have descended along with Him. Whatever qualities we have, whatever fame we have, it is only by His mercy. Therefore, on this day, my brothers, we will not chant the names of any other avatar except Gauranga. Do not allow any fear to rest in your heart. Let us chant Lord Gauranga's glories and dance like mad lions. Hearing this, the devotees were very confused. Because they knew, if they're glorifying Lord Chaitanya as the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, He's going to be very angry. This is the one thing He really cannot tolerate. He's in the role of a devotee. He's always saying, I am the servant of the servant of the servant. What will happen? But at the same time, Advaita Acharya is the senior most of all of us. We cannot disobey him. So they were perplexed. Seeing their perplexity, Advaita, ecstatically, roaring like hundreds of lions, began to recite beautiful compositions that he was creating to glorify Lord Chaitanya. And as he was singing, he was dancing and weeping, and his hairs were standing on end and his limbs were trembling. He was mad. He was chanting, Lord Chaitanya is Narayan who has come to this earth. He's Vanamali Krishna who wears beautiful flower garlands. He has descended. He has descended to chant His own holy names, to worship Himself, to teach the whole world the process of pure devotional service. And as he was dancing and chanting in this way, the devotees, just by his influence, became completely fearless. That is the power of association. We can become fearful or fearless according to who we associate with. Advaita Acharya's enthusiasm was so overwhelming that within a matter of seconds, everyone, all the assembled devotees, were screaming out with great volume the glories of Lord Gauranga. And they were all dancing and dancing and dancing. This kirtan was so loud it was filling the universe. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who resides in Gambhira, the house of Kashi Mishra, he could hear a very, very loud, ecstatic kirtan going, so he went to join it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared on the scene and he saw all these devotees weeping and jumping in ecstasy, loudly crying out, Lord Krishna has descended as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the crest jewel of all sannyasis, is actually the Lord and the enjoyer of all spiritual and material worlds. When Lord Chaitanya heard them singing, he looked down on the ground, very embarrassed, did not say a word, and then left, fled back to his home. He went to his house, closed the door, and went to sleep. Hare Krishna. The amazing thing is when Lord Chaitanya stood there in such an embarrassed state, the devotees saw Advaita. He became more ecstatic. He was dancing more enthusiastically and chanting louder, and all the devotees, by his influence, became so fearless that in the presence of Lord Chaitanya, they're just crying out, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, who has descended to deliver all of us through the Sankirtan of the holy names. Hearing the content of the Sankirtan, Mahaprabhu left that place very, very rapidly, went home and went to sleep. But the devotees were so much ecstatic, mad. Vrindavan Das Thakur said they were like mad lions. They took the kirtan to Lord Chaitanya's house. They were all outside his house, loudly chanting his glories. And Govinda came into the room and said, Lord Chaitanya was sleeping. At least he appeared to be. He said, all the devotees are at your door. What should we do? Lord Chaitanya said, let them in. Then he went back to sleep. And they all came in, and Lord Chaitanya was sleeping. And they were standing, and they didn't know what to do. Some of them were very much afraid. Did they displease the Lord? All they could do was just fix their mind and their hearts on meditating on his lotus feet. Then Lord Chaitanya looked up and said, Oh, Srivas, assembled Vaishnavas, why have you come? What are you doing here? Why have you abandoned the chanting of Krishna's name to sing something else? Why? Srivas Thakur answered. He said, My Lord, you are the supreme cause of all causes. All of us, we are your surrendered devotees. We are all like puppets in your hands. Whatever you make us do, we will do. It was by your influence, by your will, that we are all dancing and singing your glories today. Lord Chaitanya said, Srivas, O assembled Vaishnavas, you are all learned scholars. You know what is the philosophy, you know what is in the scriptures, you know what is the truth. Why are you not chanting Krishna's names? Why are you covering the truth? And Srivas answered the question by putting his hand up in the air. Now please know, he was inside. Put his hand up in the air and moved his hand around and didn't say a word. Lord Chaitanya asked, what is this moving your hand around? What kind of answer is that? Please explain. And Srivas said, with the palm of my hand, I am covering the sun. But it is not possible to cover the sun. And similarly, my Lord, it is not possible even from you to cover your supreme glories as the all-opulent personality of Godhead. You cannot even cover your glories when you're in the ocean of milk. What to speak amongst human beings on this earth planet? Even if it was possible for me to cover the entire sun planet with my hand, your glories will never be hidden from this world. Just see, my Lord. Now, everyone knows that you're the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There's hundreds of people chanting and chanting and chanting and dancing. Why? Because you have given them the power to do so. Just at that moment, a great miracle took place. It was just the devotees who were at the door chanting in the glories of Lord Chaitanya. But many, many thousands and thousands of pilgrims came to Puri on that day. And after seeing Lord Jagannath, people who came from Chattagang, Srihata, West Bengal, East Bengal, thousands of them, they all came right to Lord Chaitanya's door, and they were loudly, with their hearts and soul, chanting the glories of Lord Chaitanya. They were singing how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, who roams in the beautiful forests of Vrindavan, but now he has assumed the form of a sannyasi to flood the whole world with the Sankirtan movement. Let us worship him, honor him, and surrender to his lotus feet. There was a tumultuous roar of this chanting right out the door, and Srivas said, "Now what are you going to do, my Lord? What are you going to do, my Lord, now? Now listen, thousands and thousands and thousands of people are chanting your glories as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Are you going to punish everyone?" My Lord, just here, you have made the whole world understand your glories. Then Srivas said, "It is only when you reveal yourself that anyone can know you. It is not due to me or anyone else. You hide yourselves according to your will, and it is only by your sweet independent will that anyone can know who you are. It is by your infinite causeless mercy that all these people today are chanting your glories with love." And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu turned to Srivas Thakur and said, "Srivas, it is by your influence that they are all chanting. It is your glory. Today I am defeated by you." This is the essence of the love between the Lord and his devotee. The devotee wants to give all credit to Krishna, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to give credit always to his devotees. Our beloved Srila Prabhupada never took any credit. He fulfilled the will of Lord Advaitacharya and Srivas Thakur. He took the name of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, placed the deity of Lord Chaitanya to be worshipped in practically every major city of the entire world. All over the planet. Yesterday, Gaur Purnima, please understand, in over 500 major temples, there was Gaur Purnima festival celebrating Lord Chaitanya as the Lord. And thousands, tens and thousands of individual homes all over the world. Why? Prabhupada gave all credit to Lord Chaitanya. He took nothing for himself. But Lord Chaitanya gives all credit to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhupada was the perfect instrument of Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu's causeless mercy to establish love of God through the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Now we would like to invite His Grace Jananivas Prabhu to enlighten our hearts.
So thank you all for allowing me to come back to my second home. you have some new personalities here. I wasn't here for the introduction, but I see you know you have Panchatattva also. Yeah. So, in the song we were singing, Gauranga Bharati Hobby, Srila Prabhupada points out that that is actually, there is progression here. In some purports in Chaitanya, Prabhupada quotes that song, and he speaks of a progression that Narottam Thakur is singing about, and how one has to receive the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu and the 6 Goswamis, then actually you can understand the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, which is what Lord Chaitanya came to give. And all the other relationships are simply nourishing this conjugal affair of Radha and Krishna. So in order to understand that, then Krishna has come as Panchatattva. There's 5 truths in Kali Yuga. And because they are the Yuga avatars, then we have to follow the process that's given for the Yuga. And they have come in 5 features as these 5 tattvas. And Prabhupada's indicating how we have to systematically follow this process. And receive the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu and the 6 Goswamis. So to approach Nityananda Prabhu, we have to approach his representative. Nityananda Prabhu is the original spiritual master. So his representative is the pure devotee. We approach the pure devotee, the representative of the Lord. And this is exemplified by Srivas Thakur. He is Narad Muni. Everybody knows he is the pure devotee of the Lord. So he represents the pure devotee whom we take shelter. And the pure devotee's role, he gives you the message of the acharyas. He doesn't concoct anything, but he is giving you the pure message that's coming in the line of acharyas. And this is Advaita. He's the acharya, Advaita Acharya. So he is bringing Advaita Acharya. He gave the actual process of devotional service. He called the Lord, and also he gives the process of devotional service. So by accepting shelter at the lotus feet of a pure devotee, and following the process of the acharyas, then we become purified, and then, as Narottam Thakur was saying, then you are able to enter into Vrindavan. And so that represents Sri Nityananda Prabhu. He represents the Shuddha existence. That's his potency. So by taking shelter of a pure devotee, following the orders of the Acharya, one becomes purified and comes above the modes of material nature into the transcendental platform or Vrindavan. And Prabhupada said, everybody's asking about the mercy of Nityananda. What is that mercy? And here he says, or another place Prabhupada says, what is the symptom of one who's got the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu? And Prabhupada says, he is happy. He becomes happy. So in other words, he transcends the modes of material nature. If you want to be happy, you transcend. Don't try to find happiness in the material nature, because you won't get it. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Brahma Bhuta Prashnatma, when you transcend, then you'll actually become happy. This is indeed happiness, Krishna says, arising from the cessation of material miseries. So modes of material nature mean material miseries. So by this process we actually enter into Vrindavan. This is he calls this mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. So now you're purified, you're in Vrindavan, then next what do you do there in that purified position? So then he says, when will I be eager to study the teachings of the 6 Goswamis, headed by Rupa Goswami? When will I be able to follow in their footsteps? Because Rupa Goswami we know is Rupa Manjari in Krishna Leela, who is an expansion of Srimati Radharani, who is the Haladini Shakti. So that is representing the Haladini Shakti is Gadadhar Pandit. So in Vrindavan, then we have to take shelter of the Haladini potency, which is represented by Gadadhar Pandit and his expansions, Rupa Goswami. Therefore we are Rupa Nugas. And only then, when we get actually the mercy of Gadadhar Pandit, because that is the Bhakti Shakti, the Haladini Shakti, is the potency in which we can reciprocate with Krishna, or Krishna reciprocates with. We have a little bit of this Bhakti Shakti, Ananda potency, Satchidananda, we are Satchidananda, but that potency is not powerful enough to reach Krishna. But Krishna, He is the source of that Ananda, Satchidananda. But when He is satisfied with the devotional attitude of the devotee, then He sends His Haladini Shakti, His loving potency, to join the individual living entities. And then the established relationship is established. So it's a progression. We have to worship through the Panchatattva in Kali Yuga, because that's the way the Lord has desired it. He has come in these 5 features for this purpose, so He can freely distribute His Krishna Prem, the Mo Mahabharanaya, Krishna Prem of Deity. And He's doing it through His own expansions, His own devotees, all in the mood of devotees. So, otherwise, as Niranjan Maharaj was saying this morning, it's a very, very difficult subject matter to understand. If we try to do it by ourselves, try to understand it's not possible. We have to follow this process, taking shelter of the devotees. These tattvas, Panchatattva, is difficult to understand. Unless one becomes purified, then it's easy. In fact, it's the most natural thing. The Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem. We have eternal love for Krishna, it's already there. It's the most natural thing. It's simply now it's covered by so many material desires, etc. Then it seems so difficult. It seems so difficult. But actually when that desire is over, then it's the most easiest, most natural thing in the world. So, that's already there. So Krishna consciousness is simply an awakening process. It's Prabhupada is reviving our original Krishna consciousness. And these tattvas, Vishnu tattva, we've got Nitai and Advaita and Mahaprabhu. They are Vishnu tattva, and you get Shakti tattva. Gadadhar and Srivas Thakur. And it is said in the Shastra that of all the tattvas, Vishnu tattva, they are difficult to understand unless one has devotion. But the 2 most difficult tattvas to understand is Shiva tattva and Guru tattva. Because Shiva, he's like yogurt and milk. You don't know whether he's yogurt or milk. He's kind of very elusive. But Guru tattva, he's even more difficult to understand. Because the Guru, we approach the Guru, the pure devotee, he represents Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur represents the pure devotee, the leader of the devotee, Bhaktakyam, like devotee. So he's the leader of all the devotees. So we take shelter of the pure devotee, the Guru. And Guru is representing the Srivas Thakur. Then the Guru, he gives us the message of the Acharyas. So in that role, then the Guru represents Advaita Acharya. And by following those processes, one receives the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Then one can understand that the original Everybody knows Nityananda Prabhu is the Adi Guru. So the Guru is representing the Adi Guru. And Gadadhar also, Srimati Radharani, she's also the Guru, the leader of all the devotees. So also Guru can represent Gadadhar Prabhu. And by their mercy then, the attainment of love of God is fulfilled. And by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Sakshat Hari Trinashamasa, we know that the Guru, he represents the Supreme Personality of God. It is non-different than the Supreme Personality because he is so dear. So we see actually the Guru, he represents all 5 tattvas. Now according to our realization. First we're approaching as a pure devotee, he's representing Srivas. But as we follow the Acharya's instructions nicely, he can represent Advaita as the Acharya. Then when one transcends material, he can represent Nityananda Prabhu. And when one actually starts to enter into a relationship with Krishna through the Hardini Shakti, that Guru can represent Gadadhar Pandit. And then he can represent Lord Sakshat Hari Trinashamasa. So he's very difficult because he can represent all of these. So according to our realization, we can see this. But this is the progression. So therefore I said, never disrespect the Guru. Because we may think, well, he seems to be doing ordinary things. But it's only our angle of vision. He can represent Lord Chaitanya, he can represent Nityananda. He does. But because of our angle of vision, we go, well, he's the Guru, he seems to be doing this thing. No, it's our angle of vision that we judge. So therefore the Guru Tattva is very difficult to understand. But he is so merciful that they actually come and they give shelter to unlimited living entities. So we want this mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The only thing in Kali Yuga. And Lord Chaitanya has come to give freely. But he's difficult to understand. Very difficult to understand. He's sitting on the pots, on the earthen pots that they were eating from. And his mother says, Nimai, don't. She's making a distinction. It's not a very clean place because they're touching their mouths to the pots. You can come and play in the dust here. That's okay, but don't sit on the pot. Well, he happens to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he's playing on the dirty pot. So he's very, very difficult to understand. But nevertheless, he's making himself known through his devotees and through the process of Krishna consciousness. We have to accept his process. The process is basically it's all just the chanting of the Maha Mantra. And no other process is as effective as this process. So therefore, Nityananda Prabhu, he was criticizing everyone in Navadvip at that time, the non-devotees. I actually called them hypocrites. He said, actually you're all hypocrites because here Lord Chaitanya is coming and he is giving love of Krishna freely by chanting Hare Krishna, and you're still attached to your different ways. You are thinking that by our performing our duties very nicely, we can attain perfection. Or, by our knowledge, by our gyan, we can do it. By our austerities, by our tapasya, by our different processes of yoga. You're all thinking that ultimately we can He said, you're a hypocrite. Because the goal of all those processes is that you're all attached to and following is, he's here right now in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he's saying, here, please take the love of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. And you're still attached to your processes. Well, I'm the yogi, I'm the jnani, I'm the karmakandi, doing everything so nicely. The goal of all those processes is that you're all attached to and following is, he's here right now in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he's saying, here, please take the love of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. And you're still attached to your processes. Well, I'm the yogi, I'm the jnani, I'm the karmakandi, doing everything so nicely. Especially the logicians, because Navadvip at that time was the home of logicians. Because if you know logic, then you can defeat anyone. You can simply reverse any logic. Lord Chaitanya was expert at that. Not yet. So that was the in thing in Navadvip, because if you know that, you can kind of defeat anyone, and he was the greatest Pandit. So especially those, Nityananda Prabhu, he was criticizing. You're using logic, think you can understand the Supreme Absolute by logic, but use your logic in understanding Lord Chaitanya and His mercy. So the Lord so mercifully came. That was a very beautiful description. The first time I saw the description that we were chanting this morning of Lord Chaitanya, telling his color, his complexion is like cream from the milk, tinged with kumkum. It's very beautiful. Kumkum is very beautiful. When we dress Radha Madhava and the Gopis, sometimes we put. But here you cannot use. Maharaj's order. Sometimes when you look at it flat on, you don't see much. When you look at it from an angle, it gives a hue. You're seeing the kumkum powders, and it makes a red hue. It's very beautiful. It's like an effulgence. So that cream that has that kind of reddish effulgence. Cream. Everybody wants to lick cream, So when Lord Chaitanya's complexion is, he's like, you want to lick up that nectar of Lord Chaitanya. And another description, his name means he's like Cupid throwing flower arrows. What was the name of that in that verse? In the second verse. Anyway, he's just like Cupid. Oh, you got it. Okay. Oh yeah. He is ever fresh, Cupid, who shoots arrows of newly blossoming flowers. I guess that's Nava Baba, Dharam Navalasha Param. Oh, Pushpam, okay. Yeah. Nava Pushpam Sharam. He is very expert in, he's the ever-fresh Cupid who shoots arrows of newly blossoming flowers. So it's similar to, we chant Pushpa Paranaya, name of Krishna, in your Gayatri mantras, Pushpa Paranaya. That means one who is throwing these flower arrows, these sidelong glances to his devotees, flower arrows of love that pierce their hearts. Same thing, he is that transcendental Cupid who pierces the hearts with flower arrows. And yeah, so like that, he is very attractive. just like the Cupid of this material world. So he is a transcendental Cupid, and he establishes. Actually, that is the process. That is Abhideya. Cupid. This is Pushparanaya is Abhideya. It's a process, or the exchange. The exchange is going on. Relationship. So this name of Gauranga is the same. He's establishing a relationship with these beautiful glances. It's like Gopinath. See how he's simply glancing over everyone. He's throwing his glances out to everyone, throwing these are flower arrows of love that enter into everyone's heart. So, the song was saying, Narottam Das Thakur's song is saying that what is it in between us and Krishna? Om Niranjan Maharaj was saying, it's this pride. Pride. Pride means I am the enjoyer, I am the Lord. Maharaj was just saying, I am Krishna, I am the Lord. We're proud to be in this material world. So, this is what is stopping us actually from relishing and exchanging this loving exchanges with Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu that he has come to give. And that pride consists of desires. We have desires to be enjoyers, to be the controllers, and so it's these desires that actually keeping us from Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's words, he says that what we desire, what desire means what we like in this material world, and also what we don't like, what attracts us and what repels us. These two things, he says, this is the intervening distance between us and the lotus feet of Krishna. So we all want to become very close to the lotus feet of Krishna. So what is stopping? What is that distance? It is simply what you like or what I don't like in this world. So if we can get rid of what we like and what we don't like in this material world, then immediately there is no intervening distance. You will be immediately attracted to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radha Gopinath Ji. So he has come to give this process, so we have to play our part also. That means we simply accept. See, he is giving, and we simply have to accept. But accept what he's giving. Don't accept everything else that we think that we need, or we only need what Lord Chaitanya and Panchatattva's come to give. We don't need anything else. And if we simply accept what he's giving 24 hours a day, then immediately we'll be completely connected, always at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he came to give, he's so merciful. He delivered Jagai Madhai. He's so merciful. Nityananda Prabhu is even more merciful. And Srila Prabhupada is even more merciful. He's coming and picking up the Milechas, Javanas. And those following in his footsteps are also saving millions and millions of lost souls in this material world. So we very eagerly take the lotus feet of the pure devotees of Krishna, of Lord Chaitanya, and follow in their footsteps, and everything will be guaranteed. This is the process. It's given by the Lord for the living entities in Kali Yuga, and we are Kali Yuga living entities. So please, we'll take to this process of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as we heard this from that song. It's simply Ananda. We simply dance, chant, take Mahaprasad, and as Prabhupada said, be happy and go back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pacharini Nirvishesha Shanivari Paschati Deshitani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Brunityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam, bunkam langete girim. Yat kripatamaham bande, Shri Gurum Dinatarinam, Paramanandamadam, Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So it is very nice to be here after so long. I wanted to come here. Maharaj has finally given me permission to come here by the mercy of Radha Gopinath. I'm able to come. I've always appreciated the preaching success here, and I use this in my preaching as an example of how to be successful, how to have a successful temple. Hare Krishna. So, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, you have all had the good fortune to associate with Maharaj here, who has been giving you so much pure bhakti. So you can, I can see in your faces how this has been awakened in your heart, this seed of devotional service. I first met Maharaj in 1972, I think, in New Vrindavan. At that time there was different farms or hills, temples at New Vrindavan. And being a brahmachari, I went and visited the brahmachari farm. And it was first thing I noted at this brahmachari farm, it was so peaceful there. It was so nice and peaceful. There weren't any women there. I don't know if that was a part of it. Maybe. I don't want to be offensive. But there were cows and worshipping. Krishna was being worshipped there. And this very blissful brahmachari, Radhanath brahmachari, was there, very blissfully serving Krishna, very happily serving Krishna. So at that time I was thinking, wow, this is such a nice place. So it was so peaceful, and this is Krishna consciousness, I thought. Such a peaceful, nice atmosphere to execute and serve Krishna. So now I am here, and I'm seeing that same atmosphere is there by the grace of Maharaj. Radhanath Swami Maharaj ki jai. So, it was nice to hear Janani Vasprabhu speak. I've been wanting to hear him speak for so many years. He is finally opening the gates of his mercy to allow us to hear his realizations about how to serve Krishna. In the trajectory, I don't know if that's the right word in Spanish, trajectory of our devotional career, we go through different trials which test our determination to be Krishna conscious. So as Maharaj explained, in Mayapur so many things have happened, and Janani Prabhu has remained fixed in his devotional service there. Lord Chaitanya says, Trinadapi sunichena tarodapi sahishnana amanina manadena kirtaniyak sadahari. Sadahari, kirtaniyak sadahari. Sada means the continuity or continual devotional service. How to be continual in your devotional service. Maintain your humility. How do you do this? Bhoktarang yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mang shantamarichati. So we can come to this peaceful stage of Krishna consciousness if we understand that Krishna, He is the supreme enjoyer. What does that mean, that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer? It means that we are not the supreme enjoyer. We are simply observers of the enjoyment of Krishna. Observer assistants in this enjoyment of Krishna. Of course, women can understand this because they see these soap operas. In the soap opera, they are not enjoying. They are observers of the enjoyment. And when the hero and the heroine are coming together in loving exchanges, finally, this is the biggest show. So then all the women go and watch this television show. Nothing will keep them from this. In South America, in the United States, in India, they all flock. Oh, this is going to happen today. They all go. So this is a material example. But when we observe the loving exchanges of Krishna and His devotees, it is also a very wonderful experience. And this way we are enjoying the enjoyment of Krishna. We are happy to observe His enjoyment and His pleasure. That is Krishna consciousness. That is bhakti. But apart from that, the devotees are assistants. Not that we just observe, we assist in the loving pastimes of Krishna and His devotees. So here, you have so many nice assistants. They're assisting each other to serve Krishna, to serve Radha Gopinath, to serve each other and serve the devotees, Prabhupada, spiritual master. It is an appreciating assistance movement where everyone appreciates amanina amanadena, the service of others. In marriage also, the couple, one is appreciating the service of the other. And so we were able to cooperate to push on this movement. Otherwise it is not possible. Success, Prabhupada says, is to show how you cooperate in pushing this Krishna consciousness movement. So, I'm just reading about the story of Rasikananda and Shaimananda Prabhu. After the 6 Goswamis, we have Srinivasacharya, Narottam Das Thakur, and Shaimananda Prabhu. And Rasikananda is his principal disciple of Shaimananda. They were a team, a very potent transcendental team. So Rasikananda was noted for his service to the Vaishnavas. All types of Vaishnavas, he would serve them, so humbly serve them. Even when King Achyuta, Rasikananda was a prince, his father, King Achyuta, even when he passed away, and his brothers started fighting over the wealth of the father, Rasikananda he would only serve the Vaishnavas and the humble devotees. He would serve them, and then he would after they would eat, he would eat from the leaf plates. They would eat leaf plates. He was so humble. So this, for his brothers, was causing a great disturbance, because how is this? He is a prince, and how is he acting in this way? So they started blaspheming the Vaishnavas, criticizing. So Rasikananda decided, I cannot go to stay in this place anymore. I will go. I will leave this place. And he left. And when he left, all the wealth of his brothers in the kingdom was lost. They lost all their wealth. Because he was the reason of their wealth. He was the jewel of bhakti was the reason of the success of this kingdom. So when he left, it all went gone. And he went somewhere else and he did the same thing, where peacefully he can serve Krishna and the Vaishnavas. So in this way, I'm saying this because this place reminds me of the community that he began, and the community that he inspired. And because of this, it is said that he had unlimited disciples, unlimited followers of Rasikananda. And he was not alone, he was with his wife also. Her name was Shaimasi, I think. Thakurani. She had taken initiation from Shaimananda also. Great devotee of Krishna. And she accompanied him. During his trials and tribulations as a devotee. Great example of a Vaishnava Grihastas. So, I again thank you for allowing me to come here and get your mercy somehow or other. I am not good for so much talking. I'm better at dancing and chanting. That's what I can do the best. I'm not such a good orator as Maharaj. So, I came to listen to Maharaj, not so much to speak. By his mercy, maybe I will become contaminated by his fervor to preach Krishna consciousness. So again, I want to thank you all. I know devotees want to take prasadam, which is a manifestation of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said that prasadam for the devotees is very important because the only sense gratification that devotees have is prasadam. He said, they have given up everything. They have given up all sense gratification. And the only sense gratification they have is prasadam. So, I don't want to keep the devotees from prasadam. I humbly ask, now I am going back tonight to South America. These are faraway preaching places from the holy Dham of Krishna. When Prabhupada went to Caracas in 1975, he saw the deities of Gaur Nitai and he started crying. They have come so far from the Dham. Hare Krishna. So I ask your blessings of all of you.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Ganajana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pachanane Nivashesha Shunyavari Pastrata Desatanane. So I also want to thank everyone so much, and especially His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj for letting us, myself and Krishna Loka, come here again and feel so much at home. I really do feel like this is our real home, and also we're leaving soon, unfortunately, to go out, not in such a place as Jagajivan Prabhu's, which I extremely admire his preaching spirit, because I know I went there a couple of times to those places, Mexico and Caracas also, long time ago. Very difficult places, very far. You really feel far away from the center of the world, the holy dhams. So it's so important. This temple, actually, you don't realize so much. I guess probably devotees have told you somewhat, but what an important oasis it is for devotees who are preaching in faraway places to be able to come and feel shelter and encouragement and enlivenment. That's why we come here. And I'd like to thank all of you, especially Maharaj and all of his associates, for allowing us to get this association. But I was thinking, because as we sat up here, then Chandramali Maharaj told me, he said, "Are you ready? You're going to have to say something." So I was really trying to think, what am I going to say? So immediately came in my mind something in relation to what Niranjan Maharaj was saying this morning about the, and also now Jananivas Prabhu, how the progression to give pleasure to Shri Shri Radha and Krishna through Guru, Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, and then giving pleasure to Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. So, and he also, Niranjan Maharaj was mentioning about, I'd like to specifically underline the point of Lord Nityananda taking risk for the pleasure of Lord Chaitanya. I don't know if you can hear me. Taking risk for the pleasure, to give pleasure to Lord Chaitanya. And I was meditating on how we all know, of course, the story of Lord Nityananda saving Jagai and Madhai. But if we can contemplate briefly that aspect of taking a risk, because he was requested by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda, and Haridas Thakur specifically, to go out in Navadvip Dham, door to door, and request everyone to chant the holy name of Krishna. And as they were walking, as we know, they were walking by, and they saw this crowd, raucous crowd, unruly crowd, and they were all around. And the people, and Lord Nityananda looked over to them, and the people told him, no, this is very dangerous, these are the lowest of the low. You should immediately run away. You should run away. You can't do anything for these people. These are the worst, most dangerous personalities in the whole area. So please go away. But we can examine how Lord Nityananda reacted, and then we can meditate on our Srila Prabhupada and how he reacted. But Lord Nityananda, instead of going away, he was immediately attracted to go there and say, who are these personalities? I especially have to go to these personalities, Jagai and Madhai, and request them to chant Hare Krishna. Even though everyone was telling him, this is a great risk, there's no greater risk. These people have killed, murdered, just on a whim. They'll chop your head, just for nothing. They'll kill you. So we hear the story many times, but try to imagine. I wanted to tell a story that I experienced. I had. It was because we were speaking with Maharaj yesterday about, and he mentioned, it's not actually true, about the preaching in Middle East, in the Arabic books. I gave out a few books. Certainly is not an established program by any means. But if we can understand the principle that Srila Prabhupada gave special mercy if one was willing to take a risk, as Lord Nityananda took a risk to approach Jagai and Madhai, it would have been the most natural thing in the world. Here, everyone tells you, over here, there's people who are going to kill you. They're the most crazy, drunken rascals. Just go away. But he went there. He said, now my mission, I have to save them. And he went, and as we know, he risked the Supreme Personality of Godhead, of Servitor Godhead, the Adi Guru. He went and risked. He even got hit, as we know, violently attacked by, they threw a clay pot on his head. So he risked his life. And Srila Prabhupada, as we know, once Srila Prabhupada said that you can't imagine how happy I am, how happy I was in the Radha Damodar temple in Sri Vrindavan Dham. You can't even imagine or fathom how happy I was staying there. But to carry out the order of my Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada, and plus for us it's inconceivable because Prabhupada was 70 years old and he took the risk. Generally we, as Maharaj explained, Niranjan Maharaj, how he was out in minus 30-degree weather, risking that's like risking your life. That's risking your life because people die in a minus 30-degree weather if you stay too long, minus 30-degree weather, just to fulfill the order of Srila Prabhupada to give his books to these fallen conditioned souls. But we were in our 20s. We were 20, 25, 30, at most. But Srila Prabhupada at 70 years old, when, as Prabhupada said, nobody thinks to leave Sri Vrindavan Dham. No one thinks to do anything at 70 years old except relax and retire and live on your pension or whatever, on your laurels and take it easy the rest of your life. But Prabhupada risked everything just to please his spiritual master, following in the line of Nityananda Prabhu. And just to make this point, how if that's the way to get the special mercy, to get the special blessing and mercy of our Guru Maharaj, of Srila Prabhupada, and Sri Nityananda Prabhu. I just tell one little story about this place in the Middle East. It was actually in Israel, and as he mentioned this story flashed into my mind some years ago. I went there to visit the devotee Gunavatar Prabhu. Some of you might know him. I don't know if he's ever come here. He was there in Mayapur this year. He's the main preacher in Israel. So I went to visit him, and we decided they had printed some Arabic books, some small books in Arabic language. And so we didn't risk too much. We went to the town of Nazareth. I don't know if none of you are Christian, but if we were in a Christian country like Italy, if you mention the word Nazareth, it's the most famous city to any Christian. That's where Jesus Christ was from, his hometown. So we went to distribute books in this town, and the people were friendly. They were Arabic Christians. Their race was Arabic, but of religion they were Christian. So they were taking books, and it was not a great risk. But then we decided, now we're finished here, now we'll driving back to the temple. And I said, is there any Muslim village? Isn't there some Muslim town nearby? And they said yes, and we pulled off into one town along the way back to the temple, and it was all Muslims. And I said, at least as long as we're here, we've got these books, let's try. We were dressed as devotees. We were also dressed as devotees. And so it was getting dark. Actually, it had just about gotten dark. And I said, why don't you go down that street, and I'll go down this street. and we had our bag of books. Some Arabic, I think we had an Arabic Bhagavad Gita, two small books. And so I went down this road, and the first shop happened to be the first shop on the left, because we were going from door to door, shop to shop. The first shop on the left was a butcher shop. There was no other shop. The only shop was it was a real butcher shop. But the only thing that was in the room, which was right on the street, open to the street, was a big block, and there the man was, the big chopper, chopping dead bodies. So I said, wow. So we do that. In Italy, we go into these places. And I said, why not? Let's try. And so I walked into this shop, and immediately, because I was dressed immediately about 4 or 5 of these young fellows with those things on their head, those black and white checkered turbans they put on their head. They all came into the shop. And the man was still there. I said, wow, this man could just chop my head off, and it would be nothing to him. Just one more body coming along, it just could chop my head off, throw the body in the back, and there would be, and these 4 boys are all around, it would be nothing, wouldn't be anything to them. I said, I just prayed to Prabhupada, and I was thinking that, and I'll just show them the books, why not? What else can I do at this point? I'm surrounded, blocked into the shop by all these boys. And actually they were very nice. The amazing thing was that they were actually very interested, they were very friendly, and they all bought a book. They all bought books. And at that moment, it's not anybody who could be there, but I had that realization at that moment that I felt the greatest mercy from Prabhupada that I've been on Sankirtan many times in many places, in Caracas and Mexico and so many places, but I never experienced a greater mercy at that moment than I ever have the whole time I've been a devotee, I think. And I realized that particular point of Lord Nityananda's mercy, specifically how he saved Jagai and Madhai, that if we can take a risk, because here we're already here in the spiritual world. This temple is just like being in the spiritual world. But Srila Prabhupada, he gave us by his example that he risked. I guess we can feel especially from the Western countries, how Prabhupada came to the most abominable, just like there was Jagai and Madhai, just 2 people with a little crowd around them, but Prabhupada went to a whole country of millions of 250 million Jagais and Madhais all together. There wasn't any crowd around them telling them to go back. They were just all Jagais and Madhais all together. And Prabhupada jumped right in the middle of them, went right in the middle of all of these millions of Jagais and Madhais, worse than Jagais and Madhais, and pulled us out at great risk, physical risk, spiritual risk, all kind of risk. So, if we really want to get Lord Nityananda's mercy and thus give pleasure to Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, if we can somehow take a risk, because I know devotees there's the Muslims, and that quarter, I'm sure none of you even ever dreamed to go to the Muslim quarter or area in Bombay to distribute books. It's just like off limits. I know I've spoken to devotees before, oh, this place, these are Farsis. Oh, this place, oh, they're Christians. Oh, this place, Muslims. It's like crossed off the map, generally speaking, by devotees. But you'll find, I guarantee you, if you stick your neck out and take a risk, go to the West, go to preach Krishna consciousness, then you'll feel Lord Nityananda's mercy, Srila Prabhupada's mercy, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be infinitely pleased and shower his unlimited blessings on anyone who can do that. Just to continue this, just the last little bit, because it was something that I'll always remember, and I hope to do it again. That I gave the books in that butcher shop, and then walked down the street, and just on the right, I knocked on a door on the right side of the street, and some big Arab man with a turban, he said, "Yeah, come right in, come in." And he sat me down, and I looked up on the wall, and this was right at the time of the previous war in the Middle East. What was it called? Gulf War or something? And this man had right on the smack in the middle of his wall, had a whole wall full of pictures of different Arabs. So right in the big huge picture of Saddam Hussein was there right on the wall. The the hero of all the Arabs. And here I was, Hindu, American, and he came in, closed the door, and was sitting down and looked at this big wall with the picture of the hero of all Arabs, and the antithesis of against America and the West and everything. So again, I was really praying like anything. I said, these things happen. If you can just kind of close the door and disappear out the back door. But they were talking in their language. And then they also bought some books. They also took some books. They were very friendly, actually. They were very kind. Brought a plate of fruit. They have a great tradition of hospitality, just as much as in India, maybe more, because I was a complete stranger. They had no idea who I was. They immediately invited me in, fruit, water, all sitting there with the whole family. Krishna, by Yogamaya's potency, they didn't register who I was or what I was representing. I'm sure they didn't register in their brain. I can just say that if you can somehow or other, by Prabhupada's mercy, have such experiences and go such places, you'll find that Lord Nityananda's mercy is infinite and unlimited, and then you'll want to get it again. And even though here it's so ecstatic, it's so wonderful to be here in this temple, but I guarantee you'll experience even a greater nectar and mercy if you take a risk to spread Krishna consciousness in somehow or other in some place, even more than you're experiencing. Prabhupada said that on a Gaur Purnima, here I am in this. How did he explain it, Maharaj? Because you remember that in the diary when the first Gaur Purnima, before even the new first temple started on 26 Second Avenue, Prabhupada was recounting how here I am all alone, far away from the holy Dham, but I'm feeling, in carrying out the order of my spiritual master, I'm feeling the greatest happiness, the greatest pleasure, even though I'm all alone here. I know that all my godbrothers, they're there celebrating Gaur Purnima in their temples, in Navadip Dham and Vrindavan Dham, but I'm experiencing this greatest happiness, even though I'm so far away and all alone. So anyone who can experience that, following in Prabhupada's footsteps, they'll also experience that happiness. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Just sitting here and listening to all these exalted Vaishnavas speak about their realizations of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Chaitanya's mission, I became overwhelmed with appreciation. And I was sitting here and listening, I was thinking, what am I going to say? And every time I would listen to someone else, I would change my presentation. My presentation is a combination of 4 other presentations that I listened to. What Sridas Prabhu had to say was really powerful and really entered in my heart. And that is, the mercy is there. And of course we've been sitting here many of you have been sitting here for 4 days and absorbing the nectarine pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, engaging in the wonderful kirtans, associating with the devotees and taking Krishna Prasadam, and just getting inundated with as much Lord Chaitanya's mercy coming through his representatives, especially His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, who was just an ocean of compassion. I remember coming here for many years. Practically, I hardly ever miss a Gaur Purnima festival here. This is my favorite place for Gaur Purnima because I know I'm going to get inundated with Lord Chaitanya's katha. I remember one year, Maharaj spoke for about 8 hours straight. So any of you were thinking that it was just a long this time, Maharaj was giving us just a smaller dose of what he usually gives. He's always very compassionate and very kind and always concerned about giving that mercy that Lord Chaitanya has given to all of us. And that's the process, just to hear and to absorb and then to be inspired to do something. If we simply hear and take in, that is wonderful. Hearing the glories of the Lord, chanting the glories of the Lord is the process of purification. But the next stage is to somehow be an instrument for that same mercy and bring that mercy to others. I was thinking when Trey Das was speaking, what Prabhupada had said, especially for those who preach in places that are very difficult to preach in, very especially Muslim countries or places like behind the Iron Curtain many years ago before communism had fallen. It was practically impossible not only to preach there, but just to go there. Prabhupada said, he said, I take the dust of the lotus feet of those devotees on my head who preach behind the Iron Curtain, who preached in Muslim countries, and one other place he said also. I think he said in India, was it? In China. In China. And we see, in order to please Srila Prabhupada and get his special mercy, devotees are taking great risks. And the mercy is there, but the mercy actually becomes even greater when we give the mercy. And that is Lord Chaitanya's request. He says, I'm a gardener, and I have so many fruits, but I'm only one person. And how much can I distribute? So please, help me distribute these fruits of love of God. And it's not hard. It's really not that hard. Simply repeat what you hear, that's all. Lord Chaitanya says, whoever you meet, tell him about Krishna. Tell him about chanting the holy names of the Lord. Tell him about the glories of devotional service. And because you have the empowerment of Lord Chaitanya's words and his mercy behind you, it will have effect. It will definitely have effect. So that's what we aspire for, to be that instrument for that mercy. Hear as much as possible, chant as much as possible, pray for that mercy, and then give that mercy to others in whatever way we can. And that will make our life satisfied. Of course, many of you are doing it. Some of you are doing it full time. Some of you are doing it according to your means. But this is really what it means to celebrate the glory of Lord Chaitanya. We want to please the Lord. We want to get His mercy. And we want to be an instrument for that mercy. So whatever way we can do that, that is wonderful. As Lord Radhanath Maharaj was speaking so eloquently and so powerfully, he quoted one verse that Lord Chaitanya came with a garland of love of God to put that garland on each and every person. He's not satisfied. Lord Chaitanya is not satisfied until every town and village becomes Krishna consciousness. So we want to try to satisfy the Lord and help Him distribute these fruits of love of God according to our capacity. And that is the real celebration of Lord Chaitanya's mercy, to become an instrument for that mercy ourselves. And then when we come to the temple, when we come and associate with devotees, we can offer something tangible. We can offer something tangible. Srila Prabhupada says there are two types of devotees. This is not a criticism, this is just a statement of Srila Prabhupada. those who are concerned with their own spiritual advancement and those who are concerned with the advancement of others. We want to be the second group because we know that we don't have anything to worry about our own spiritual advancement. We don't have anything to worry about. As Radhanath Maharaj was so nicely saying yesterday, that if we focus on Krishna, if we focus on Krishna's mission, then whatever we need in our life, it will be taken care of, no doubt. The materialists, they're getting their desires by the mercy of the Lord. Yayatam brahmapadyate tam stataiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartnate manusya partha sarvasya. Krishna, through the agents of the material energy, is fulfilling the desires of the gross materialists. And they're getting what is his Bhairanga Shakti. They're getting simply a form of sense gratification which leads to suffering. He's giving them because that's what they want. So how much more will he give the devotee who wants to please the Lord, who wants to be an instrument for the Lord's compassion in the world? And that's, Srila Prabhupada said, I have established this Krishna consciousness movement on the second class platform. The platform of Madhyama Arikari. And there's 4 principles for that. To worship the Lord as our life and soul, our all lovable object. To make friends with devotees. To be compassionate, to be an instrument of mercy to others. And to avoid the atheistic non-devotees. These are the 4 principles of the second class devotee, which is the platform of ISKCON society. So please, we want to be grateful. This Radha Gopinath temple is giving so much to the world. It's one of the pinnacles of our ISKCON society. Everyone in different parts of the world are looking to Radha Gopinath and his example of ideal Krishna consciousness, ideal devotees. So all of you who are part of this program here, you're being seen as the cynosure, the focus of ISKCON society. So you are very fortunate. But to be fortunate means to make others fortunate. That's really true fortune. So I don't have too much to say because I don't know so much. But I thank you for allowing me to come here and be a part of this wonderful program. And especially I want to thank my very dear godbrother Radhanath Maharaj, who's so kind and so compassionate that he tolerates me beyond the limits of, when I think of that verse, Trinadapi Sunichinet Tayori Vasahishnu, more tolerant than a tree, he has that quality when it comes to me. He's definitely very tolerant. And still he allows me to get his association, and I appreciate that because I need it. Thank you very much, Maharaj. Otherwise, I can't go on in my service, and that is the fact. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Sri Panchatattva ki jai.
So, Maharaj has asked me to chant, lead kirtan. So I guess that's what I'll have to do because I spoke this morning because Maharaj told me I should speak. So I have to do whatever he tells me to do. I'm simply his puppet. So just want to take this opportunity to thank those who weren't here this morning for allowing me to be part of your family. As I was saying this morning, so many devotees this morning were approaching me and saying to me, "Welcome home." And usually you have this conception when you're home is where your family lives. So all of you are my family members, and I thank you for allowing me to come home for this short visit. And I have to leave tomorrow, unfortunately, to, as Maharaj said, to my some other places where I preached from time to time. tomorrow I'll be leaving. I'll be going to Ukraine, and then so many other places, which is just simply some temporary occupational activities that I have to perform, which gives me a greater taste for coming home. So, what is that verse in the Bhagavatam? Like a weary traveler, when a devotee achieves the lotus feet of the Lord, is just like a weary traveler after a troubled journey, right? So I'm going on to my travels. But when I come back in November, I'll be like that weary travel coming home after his troubled journey in these remote places, and I'll be very happy to see my family again. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of all of that. Hare Krishna.